Speaking of featured guests, last month it was Adrian Fontes. This month we are going to blow you away with 3 featured guests. Let me please welcome to the stage from the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, Craig Lohman, Shannon Heinze, and Jane Hansen. Thank you. Come on in. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thanks for letting us do this to you. We appreciate it. Well, I think we all know that Mesa Morning Live is a production of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Channel 11 helps out with that, obviously. But the Mesa Chamber is an organization that really deserves more notoriety and a spotlight put on it in the community because you do such great work. You partner with the city and all other organizations in such a great way, and you're such a valuable resource for the business community, both large and small. So thank you for your willingness to be leaders in that great organization. Why don't, if you don't mind, let's just start. Please tell us about your name and the business that you represent. Craig?
Yep, my name is Craig Lohman. I think a little bit of personal background. I grew up in southwestern Michigan, fell in love with the Valley of the Sun, moved here in the mid-'80s, attended Arizona State University, go Sun Devils.
Forks up.
Big game this week.
Yes.
Fell in love and married my high school sweetheart. We have 6 kids. About my business, I'm representing Lohman Company. We're a CPA firm based in Mesa. We just recently celebrated our 19th year in Mesa. Thank you. Looking forward to number 20 coming up. We work with individuals and businesses, typically closely held, privately owned businesses, navigate the complex waters of tax and accounting services. So.
Great. One thing I need to figure out, you came out to ASU, and then you married your high school sweetheart from Michigan.
From Arizona, actually. She was the first girl that I met in high school here when I moved out here.
Oh, okay. So you did high school in Arizona?
Yes, I went to Saguaro High School in Scottsdale.
Saguaro. My wife went to Saguaro. We can talk later about that. Yes, okay. Thank you. Tell us, what's your story?
Yes, I am Shannon Heinze. I manage a Guild Mortgage office. I got involved with the Chamber in 2004 when they did my ribbon cutting in Mesa. I grew up in Mesa, love it here, and I met my spouse at ASU. Forks up. Super excited about this game this weekend. My spouse is a Mesa firefighter, so we have a lot of roots here. As far as Guild Mortgage, we've been around since 1960, great company. I am super lucky to manage the people I have in the office.
Great, thank you. And thanks to your husband, and thanks for supporting a Mesa firefighter. We appreciate it. Jane, tell us about the hospital and about yourself.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I am from Boston, Massachusetts originally. You can talk about your football team, I won't. Anyway, it's never popular. Left there early adulthood, went out to the Pacific Northwest, and I moved here 7 years ago from Oregon. And I work for Dignity Health, and Dignity Health, through my organization, is expanding its footprint right now in Arizona. So Arizona General Hospital Phoenix is the parent company for 2 hospitals, one on the west side, and then we just opened less than a year ago, been about 10 months, Arizona General Hospital Mesa. It's at the corner of Elliott and Ellsworth, 50-bed community hospital. There is a brochure with some information about our hospital that hopefully you got when you came in, or it's in the bags. So we are thriving and feel very supported by the city of Mesa and the community surrounding us, and just thrilled to be open and providing service and helping us to expand our ability to carry out our mission here in Arizona.
Well, that's great. So, Jane, do you apologize for being from Boston and not having a good football team?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a wonderful football team, but people don't usually want me to talk about it much.
Oh, that's, okay, yeah. I guess you had heard that there is a reasonably good football team.
They're my second team.
Yes.
Love them too.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so, and I do want, let's talk a little bit more about the Arizona General Hospital.
Yeah.
Folks have driven by that, this is current, it's on Elliott Road. and it's a kind of the development hasn't gotten around there yet, so it just sticks out like a sore thumb. But it's really a
beautiful
big,
thumb.
beautiful sore thumb. Yes, thank you so much. So how many beds is it? And in just a few short years, it's going to be crowded. Buildings are going to be all around it. We're not going to see it anymore.
Right. It is 50 beds. We do have a 4-bed critical care unit. We have 4 very big operating rooms, including a hybrid room. When we equip that room, we'll be able to do cardiac catheterizations and more interventional radiology there. 14-bed emergency department, and we provide quite a few services. No OB, because we're building that big tower less than 10 miles away at Mercy Gilbert, and no pediatrics, though we have a lot of kiddos come through our emergency department. We are getting busier and busier, so we think we'll be opening the 3rd floor this winter. And let me just make a plug. We're already seeing influenza A, so please get your flu shot soon. And we do our first robotic surgery in the operating room next week.
Wow,
so
very
exciting.
cool. Well, that's such a fast-growing area of Mesa between
Yes.
Eastmark and Cadence and all the homes out there. I mean,
Yes.
we really, you feel a very critical need in having a hospital in that part of Mesa.
We went to an event last Friday at Eastmark, and there were over 1,000 people there.
Sure.
So it's a growing area, wonderful families there.
Oh, you bet. Well, so I remember I started a law practice in Mesa back in 1995, and I think really one of the first checks I wrote was to the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, because I realized the importance of networking and of being involved in the business community. So thank you, and so I've been a member ever since. But tell me, what's the value in being a member of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce? When I make that commitment and I say, okay, I'm going to do this, why? What's going to come back to me as a result of doing that?
I think there's so many things that can come back. You know, the mission statement of the Chamber is to improve, protect, and advocate for businesses. And they do all 3 of those things very well. This show is one highlight of that, to really showcase members in the Chamber and what's going on in the community and educate people of what might be of concerns to them as business owners.
Now, there is some initial, I think you guys are particularly involved in the new member orientation. Is that right? What happens when I'm a new member and I get oriented?
Go ahead.
Shannon?
So as a new member, you go to our new member orientation where you get a rundown of all the benefits, all of the events, everything available to you to be active in the Mesa Chamber.
Great. Okay, a moment ago we were talking about an event called Aviation Fascination. I think that's a good example of the type of community engagement that the Chamber does. Tell us a little bit about those, maybe that particular event or events similar to that.
Yeah, so Aviation Fascination is coming up. We heard about it earlier with the Heliponents. That's fantastic. They're hosting it. There are a number of events that the Chamber puts on throughout the year. We have the State of the City event, which I think we know the main guest of that.
I've been to that, yes.
You've been there before. And so those events are made to allow members to come out and interact with other businesses and learn what else is available to them.
So you have events for members, but you also have events like the Aviation Fascination that are open to the public as well. So it's really something you do for the community, but another opportunity to maybe highlight some of your members. Is that right?
And I would just add, I mean, I think we do 400 or so events a year at the Chamber. It's a very busy Chamber. I think that the benefits of it vary depending on your type of business and your size of business, but there is something in there for all of us. I know as a relatively new member at the Chamber, it's been really important for us as we opened our hospital it's a bridge for us to the community, and really has allowed me to get to know a lot of the other business leaders in the community. And we also really try to take advantage of the public policy and advocacy there that's offered. And then the Leadership Institute, we're looking forward to having some of our leaders go through that and learn more about the community.
I'm glad you said that, because there are, within the Chamber, there's different committees and different kind of groups of businesses. One of the committees I really appreciate at the Mesa Chamber is the Education Committee, because you guys do a great job of partnering with the school, supporting our K-12 districts, but also higher education and early learning. So we've got just a great group of folks on this Education Committee addressing some pressing city issues. For example, I hate to bring this up, but we've been experiencing some teenage suicide issues in Mesa. And the group that is at the tip of the spear, asking the questions and trying to marshal the resources to respond to that, is the Chamber Education Committee. Tell us what else. Tell us a little more about the Education Committee.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the teen suicide as well. So suicide is the #1 cause of death for children ages 10 to 14 in this country, and the #2 cause of death for individuals aged 15 to 35. In Arizona, I think we're second behind Utah for teen suicide, and we're seeing what I guess, I hate to use this word, but it feels like a crisis right now in the East Valley with our most recent loss yesterday. So the Education Committee has taken a lead role for the Chamber, working with other entities in the city of Mesa to really develop plans for awareness. The Chamber is going to co-sponsor with the United Way an event in October, raising community awareness for this, and I believe the governor just signed a bill to put more money into the schools for education. So I think for me personally, and for my company and for our community, the first step is awareness and really understanding what's going on, and then joining into places where it makes sense in this space to help.
Yes, and again, it's a somber topic, but it's nothing more important. The absolute worst thing we could do is avoid talking about the topic.
Right.
Like you say, the awareness is such a critical part of this. So thank you for that event in October. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are around a teen, adolescent mental health is a crisis in our country, and it's also that's true in Mesa, Arizona. So please don't just assume that kids are okay. Get involved and ask questions and talk and see what we can do to address this horrible trend that we're seeing. Back to the Chamber. I mean, we've got, I know, the thing I love about the Chamber is you've got businesses like Boeing and Apple and literally, and Google. I mean, the biggest companies in the world are members of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. And then you come to a Chamber event and that's a one person, a guy who operates a business out of his glove box in his car, right? So, I mean, we go from large to small. And so what is it that you offer to businesses like Boeing and MD Helicopter and Apple? Why would they join? And then why would the guy who, has a pickup truck join?
I think that's interesting. When we joined, my first concern with the Chamber of Commerce, a lot of times they have stereotypes. You think they're just the insurance agent, the real estate broker that's getting together. We joined almost 10 years ago. And one thing that happened to me, it actually opened my eyes about the city of Mesa and how big it is, number one, the land size, as well as the type of businesses which you referred to. You've got the extremely large, well-known names around the world, and then you have smaller companies as well. And the Chamber, what I found is it can blend all those. It offers things for each type of business. Mm-hmm. The large businesses, they get more involved with the advocacy side of things, trying to make sure that their businesses are protected and their employees are protected for what they're doing. And so they're driven a lot with the government affairs committees and those type of events. The smaller businesses and middle-sized businesses, like ours as well, is to get involved and get to know other people in the community. Sure. And the reality is that this community becomes your second family as you start to know people around. And the city of Mesa is big, but when you get to know other business owners, it's a small community, and it's fun to be able to see people around the valley whether you're going out to dinner with family or whatever it might be.
Well, and there's another great reason. I mean, it's a great place to make friends.
Right.
I mean, when I go to a Chamber event, I just really enjoy it, because what you see is a lot of folks who care about the community, who are giving of themselves to come out and be engaged and involved and interact and help. The Industry and Defense Council, that's one of the groups within the Chamber that's really very successful, doing a great job. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the Industry and Defense Council was originally kind of spearheaded by Senator John McCain, who talked to Sally, our fearless leader, and said it would be a great idea to kind of organize the defense contractors and industry businesses in Mesa into a group that the United States government could be able to tap into for knowledge and information, what's happening with the economy and their businesses. Those businesses, you talked about a few of them. You've got Boeing and Namo Tally and the likes that are on the large side. You've got local businesses like Gecko and Phoenix Logistics that have fell in there. And they've all come apart and do different events frequently throughout the year with a number of the guidance of the senators that we have in town, so in the state, with Senator McSally and Senator Sinema.
Yeah, I think sometimes people forget what a big part of the Mesa economy is composed of industry. I mean, defense contractors, aerospace contractors. I mean, really world-class, huge businesses. And I've gone to events with the Industry and Defense Council where the speaker was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I mean, they do a great job of interacting with the congressional delegation and really at a very high level. So that's great, but they're kind of swinging the pendulum to the other side, talking about the small businesses. Tell me about the Capital Opportunity Program. This is another really great idea.
So this is something new that the Chamber has put together, a Capital Opportunity Program, and another organization they have is the Mesa Financial Network, both of which are related to the banking and finance world. The Capital Opportunity Program has put together resources with some sponsor banks to try to say, what could we do to help businesses try to find those small business needs, maybe for lending or different avenues they could go down. And so Gateway Bank has been spearheading that organization, which is a Chamber member, and trying to get that to grow and allow the central point of contact for businesses looking for possibly money to say what their best avenue is, whether it's small business SBA type lending or some other kind of lending they might be able to get, and help them prepare their information to get qualified for that.
So if you are a very small business, one of the major hurdles you have to get over is getting a loan, right, occasionally. And sometimes you walk into a big worldwide bank and you say, I want a loan of this size to do something rather modest. And they say, why are you here? We don't deal with people like you. Maybe they don't say that, but you get that feeling, right? And so this is a great alternative for people that are starting things up or on maybe their part-time business and they need a little bit of understanding, and people looking at their tax returns and not looking for reasons not to make the loan, right? So what a great opportunity for small businesses. Well, great. Like I say, I really have appreciated I've gotten a lot out of being a Chamber member, and I'm sure that's true for you, or you wouldn't be, CPAs are busy people. They don't hang out at Mesa Morning Live unless they're getting something out of it. So thank you for your commitment to the Chamber, and thank you to the Chamber for all the great work you do in our community. We appreciate it. Okay, thank you very much. Big hand for the Chamber of Commerce, you guys. Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for keeping us well.